What's up everyone? Welcome to a new video. Thank you so much for being here. So I have a feeling that this one is coming in at the perfect time for you because, whoo child, let me just tell you, when I was working on this outline, I was just like, I really needed to hear this and I need to practice this and I need to remember this whenever I am going through the motions of life. All right, so I know I talk a lot on my channel how certain foods can cause us to break out, how a lot of emotional stress plays a huge part in that as well. And in my last video, I mentioned how this nutrition course that I'm taking, how honestly I didn't realize at the time how stressful it was going to be for me to manage that and manage everything else in my life. But thankfully in like 1 or 2 weeks I'm finally done. So I'm going to be celebrating my certification, which I'm excited about. But let me just tell you, these last few months have been really challenging for me. So I wanted to get into how emotional stress, more specifically though, how suppressed emotions can show up on our skin as acne, eczema, psoriasis, and all those other skin issues. Sometime last year, if you guys remember, I posted a video on how affirmations and the law of attraction, how you can use it to manifest clear skin in your life. At that point in my life, I was doing so much positive affirmations and my skin was looking so clear. So you start to think about when your skin starts looking so clear and kind of like what your lifestyle was looking at the time. Today though, I wanted to give you some examples on how suppressed emotions can show up physically on your skin. So you guys know that I'm all about Chinese face mapping, right? Honestly, I feel like it's so on point for me. I've mentioned it a bunch of times in my videos, but if you're still not sure what Chinese face mapping is, it's basically the concept that everything in your body is connected. So organs are connected to specific areas on your skin. So for example, this area right here in between your eyebrows, it's often correlated to the liver, and that is where I break out a lot of times. Like I just broke out with it 2 weeks ago. So if I'm eating like crap, drinking a lot, I know that that area is gonna break out for me. The same thing goes for emotions. So suppressed emotions, a lot of things that we've never fully dealt with and released. So these are some of the examples how emotions that are stored in our organs shows up on our face. So according to Chinese face mapping, anger and frustration, it gets stored in the gallbladder and the liver, and a lot of times they'll appear on our forehead. Remember how in between the eyebrows is where that liver shows up? That is where anger shows up. Frustration will show up in our foreheads. The kidneys, which is associated with under our eyes, this is where a lot of fear and a lot of worry come from. The lungs, which show up right here, that's associated with built up sadness, built up depression, and then other built up emotions like anxiety oftentimes show up like in the stomach area, which is like right here. If you look at the chin area, which is associated with our hormones, you can see that it can often show up as shame, vulnerability. That's very telling for me because as a woman, I can totally see how we can internalize a lot of shame, a lot of vulnerability when it comes to our hormones and sexuality and all of that. So honestly, I really thought that that was so on point. The inspiration for this video came from this book that I'm actually reading on emotions. It's called 90 Seconds to a Life You Love: How to Master Difficult Feelings to Cultivate Lasting Confidence, Resilience, and Authenticity. So in the book, the author, who is also a psychologist, says that throughout the whole years of her seeing clients, she's noticed that these 8 feelings have shown up so frequently throughout all her sessions. And they are sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration, and vulnerability. At least like 5 of these are in that face mapping that I just showed you, which I thought was interesting, and I was just like, oh, let me connect the dots real quick. So we've all experienced these emotions, right? But a lot of us have never really let these emotions run its course. The author, Dr. Rosenberg, says that the only way to release these suppressed emotions is to actually let your body feel them. Too often, whenever we feel sad, whenever we feel angry, we just kind of distract ourselves and we don't let our body go through the motions. And then with time, these emotions and these feelings start to build up, right? Because we're not trying to feel these feelings, they're uncomfortable, right? So we kind of brush them off, we distract ourselves. So over the years, this just keeps piling up into our bodies. And according to Chinese face mapping, it gets built up in our organs. She titled it 90 Seconds to a Life You Love because according to her and studies, she says that it only takes 90 seconds for any feelings to run through our bodies. So for our mind and our bodies to go through the motions of feeling vulnerable, of feeling frustrated. How it works is whenever you feel sad, angry, disappointed, shameful, as uncomfortable as these feelings may be, the best thing to do is to sit with it and actually really be present and aware of it so that your body and your mind can log this information in. Because remember, our bodies and our mind are like computers, okay? They log whatever we feel, and if we don't give them a chance to feel sad, to feel angry, then it gives our bodies and our mind a mixed signal. And in the book, she talks about the physical sensations. You know how like when we get angry, our body starts heating up, we get hot. How we get sad, we experience like a mini heartbreak. When we distract ourselves from these emotions, we miss out on our body's chance to assess and organize these feelings so that the next time they show up, we're more resilient, we're more confident on how to deal with it, and we don't feel like we're being bombarded with all these feelings all at once. And as we continue to practice this 90-second rule, which is being present and aware of these feelings and letting your body run its course of them, we allow ourselves to release these feelings and we don't longer suppress them. I definitely have a lot of emotions that I don't know how to deal with, and I feel like over time they've definitely built into some suppressed emotions, and I'm sure that a lot of people feel me on this, and a lot of people are in that same kind of struggle right now with how to deal with certain things. I feel like society doesn't really show us how to deal with a lot of these emotions. So if you're somebody like me that you break out whenever you have stressful events happen, whenever you're going through something really stressful, emotionally draining, all of that, I definitely recommend you reading this book. I'm also a huge advocate for therapy. I go to my therapist every other week. I already know them sessions are booked, and she's really helped me so much on how to deal with my emotions, how to deal with reacting to certain things, how to take a step back and look how things can be handled differently. And I've learned so much about myself just from doing that. I think the key is to start learning more about yourself. That's how you're going to be able to deal with these emotions. But the first thing you got to do is let yourself feel this, because if you don't let yourself feel it, then you're not going to be able to learn about yourself. I encourage you now to start paying more attention and being present and aware when these emotions come up and how you deal with them. Do you distract yourself from feeling them? Do you talk down to yourself whenever you feel embarrassed or vulnerable? Remember, everything is connected, and I know that I wear my emotions on my face, and if this is something you do too, we really need to work on that and find healthier ways to release them, like this 90-second rule that I mentioned in the book, because if not, they're gonna show up on our skin as acne, as other skin issues, or even worse, more serious health issues that we don't even want in our lives. I show you how I self-care and decompress in this video right here. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, and I'm gonna see you in that one right here.